welcome to the Special Moves Podcast. This is episode 96. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Lukowski and Liam McKelvey.
Junior. It sounds like you're going to say every time.
Yeah, because of the way I say it.
Yeah, there's two more syllables to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Liam McKelvey Jr., as he's known to his father, Liam McKelvey Senior. So we haven't done a bonus. We should just address this straight away. I think we haven't done a bonus Patreon podcast in a little while because we've been busy as fuck. To be honest, it's just the way it's landed. So I was thinking maybe next time. I actually have. I don't know why I didn't mention this to you before we started recording, but let's just lean into it. Maybe we should do a slightly longer one on Sunday if we do indeed record on Sunday, which I think we will. Yeah. And maybe do like a Q&A, which we haven't really done. So like a Patreon Q&A. If you're a patron, we'll do a little post on our Patreon feed.
As long as the questions aren't, why don't you record on a Sunday every week?
Yeah.
Why are you so unreliable?
Yeah. Why do you hate us? And, so on.
Okay.
But we'll do some kind of Q&A because we do the Dear Special Moves thing, but it's generally like gaming related. It tends to be personal stories and stuff, but just any kind of like Patreon Q&A thing, because the Patreon podcast is always off topic anyway, in the sense that it isn't necessarily about games. So, ask us whatever you want about movies, TV, ourselves, the podcast, whatever. And we'll so keep an eye out on our Patreon feed over the next 24 hours. There'll be a post on there and you can comment with your questions below that. And we'll use that in our next Patreon bonus podcast. So Jake and Liam, how do you feel about that?
I think that's a great idea.
Yep, unanimously. Passed it. Motion passed.
Cool. The council agrees. That's what's good about doing this, is we usually are just cool with everything, aren't we? Like,
I think I dare say, our core values align to the point where we are most agreeable about often the changes that someone else proposes.
Sounds kind of like a little bit Chinese government saying that kind of thing. Luckily, our core values align.
I'm in between. I'm on like a work break. We're recording this on my work break, right? I've got another business call after this. So I might be a bit, coming out with some bullshit. I might start saying words that you'd only find if you read the PowerPoint presentation. So bear with me. Core values there is already like strike one. If we get 3, feel free to kick me out of the call and I'll crawl back.
Okay. Well, one final kind of non-gaming related treat before we get into it. Jake, you were just saying that, you were pretty thirsty, right? And you wanted to go downstairs.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? I don't want to be one of them, but I'm busy at the moment and my head's up my arse. So I went downstairs to get a drink and for some reason I ended up coming up with this. I brought this into my attic, so this has been with me most of the day. It's a bottle of Listerine for the audio listeners, which, if you don't know what Listerine is, it's mouthwash, which is now just it's just confined to my desk now as decoration. So me and a bottle of Listerine.
It kind of looks like a gaming energy drink.
A gaming supplement, yeah.
Power up your stream, power up your live stream supplement, isn't
it? Yeah. Get rid of fucking lag. Brain lag.
So that's enough of that bollocks. There's a lot of gaming stuff happening at the moment. A lot of cool news. I mean, it's very difficult to know what to talk about because things will date so quickly.
Well, should we address one thing for the day oneers, for the people listening to this fresh and new?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So as of the day of recording today, which is Tuesday to whatever, Tuesday the 8th of September, there's been there's been a price announced for the cheaper model, which people didn't even know was a thing, of the Xbox Series X. It's called the Xbox Series S. It's the thing that has a big boombox looking speaker on it and no disc tray. And it's coming in at the price of, what is it, in pounds, $250?
Yeah, $249 or $299 US.
Right.
Which is, it looks really cool. It looks good. It looks, Liam, we were looking at the specs earlier, right? You posted the specs on it's not specs. It's just like, a rundown of...
Yeah, like a bullet point of list. List of bullet points, which, like someone got their hands on the reveal trailer early and posted it all over Twitter. And it is mad, like, how much power you're getting for $249 or whatever. Like, it's going to be they said it's going to be like up to 1440p at 120 FPS. So like, not even because everyone thought it would just do 1080 and that was it, like 1080p. But the fact that it can go higher is surprising to me anyway. Like you said, no disc drive, digital only. But I don't think that'll be an issue with Game Pass anymore. And then, yeah, just like it can do ray tracing. It can do basically everything that its big brother, the Series X, can. Except just, at a lower resolution with a smaller hard drive in it. And, but it can do everything else that the Series X can.
I think one thing that's really interesting about this kind of leak turning into a reveal is that the same guy had said also some more information. November the 10th is the release date for both of them, and the bigger model, the Series X, is coming in at $499. So Xbox chose to only reveal one bit of information, which was the Series S and its price. But the same guy saying that, I don't know if that's like reliable or whatever, but that seems right. They also announced there was like a rent to buy model, like a mobile phone contract of $25 a month, which is like something that I remember when we were at Pretty Good Gaming. So like at least like 2.5 years ago, I remember that was like the thing that they mentioned that back when Xbox was called like was it Project Scarlet, was it, or Scorpio?
Oh yeah. Xbox, as in the Xbox One X, right? Was called.
Yeah, but during that, like when it was called Project Scarlet or whatever, they did bring up that they were thinking of different pricing models. So like, it's almost like a guarantee. Like in fact, I think you can already do that now, can't you, in America? I think.
with the One X, you could get it for like $40 or $50 a month over 24 months. With I think it was 2 years of Xbox Live Gold. And I think someone worked it out where if you took an Xbox One X and the 2 years of gold, it added up to like $660. But if you did it through the rent to buy program or whatever it was, it ended up only being $600. So you somehow saved money.
Yeah,
right.
That's crazy.
It's really, really fucking cool of Microsoft to do that. I think. Without trying to sound like Miss World or whatever, but, obviously we're in a position a bit more fortunate.
Children of the future.
Exactly. But I just think
I believe in peace. I believe in peace, Jake. What about you?
I think about when I was a teenager in it, and I used to get money just for like turning up to school. Yeah, I used to get money for turning up to EMA in it. Spending my EMA on a new console would be is a really cool thing to do, and whatever. So I just think it's cool, for younger people or parents that want to, I don't know, don't want to pay like a big price down on there. The down payment is the word I was looking for. So it's cool. I think it's good, and it's very flexible and very nice. So you got £250 option, assumedly like a £450 option, or you got a monthly thing. And what Sony are going to do is yet to be seen. So what did we see on Twitter today? We all put it in a WhatsApp, I think, individually.
Yeah, it was game. Was it Guildford?
Guildford,
yeah.
Yeah, the
video game hotspot.
Yeah, the spiritual gaming
Stonehenge
of Britain. Yeah, it's kind of like King Arthur's kind of resting place type of thing. It's everywhere. Everywhere in Britain is kind of magical, but especially Guildford for some reason.
Home to the greats like Peter Molyneux and Sean Murray from Hello Games, and I'm pretty sure there's someone else down there as well.
Some other liars,
probably. But this place in famed place of video game liars, as Jake just said, just kind of tweeted saying that there's a huge PS5 announcement tomorrow, and everyone believes it.
I think I've accidentally debunked it. Yeah. So
this is what we were talking about at the beginning. It's difficult, we just happen to be in a week where a lot of things are happening. There's a good few games coming out. A lot of games have just come out. There's a lot of gaming news happening, and so we could be in for a big PS5 announcement this week as well. We don't know yet at the time of recording, but we're kind of due it, like well overdue it, aren't we? Like if you want to pre-order it.
Yeah,
surely we need to start hearing
You
about
actually, you actually, did you guys see the news about you can pre-order it from somewhere? Now, have you seen this? There's an official PS5 pre-order that's gone live. I can't believe you've not seen it. It's a fucking meme, boys. It's not a meme, it's real. But Truly Exquisite are doing pre-orders for a 24 karat gold PS5 for £7,999 or like $8,500. But it's the first official PS5 pre-order that's actually been okayed, signed off by Sony. If you want a 24 karat gold controller by itself, £650. so you know, I guess that's progress.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a development. Yeah. Well, I've kind of registered my interest in about 15 different places, right? All these different websites and shit, and I really want a PS5. I've decided that's what I kind of want, but it's just theirs to lose. My money is like theirs to lose now. I think, like, unless it's Liam said earlier as well, unless it's like horrifically expensive or, you know, I don't know, something else that is really puts you off. I'm going to get a PS5. Main reason is I've never had a games console on day one before,
and it's
getting an adult now. So.
Yeah, exactly. I guess the it's not as exciting and it's a lot more expensive. Well, it is pretty exciting, but it's not the same as getting a console. But Nvidia just put out some new graphics cards that everyone who gives a shit about PC gaming is looking at and going, "Oh my god, these things are so fucking good." But it'll probably cost you about 3 times the price of a PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's one Nvidia card in particular called the 3070. So it's a series of graphics cards, right, Liam? So there's a 3070, 3080, and a 3090.
Yeah,
I'm not sure the others, but
3080 is going to be the first one out next week. Actually, it's meant to come out, and that one's going to be like 650 quid. But then you've got the 3090 at the very top end, which is like £1,200. But then you've got the more reasonable and probably the one most people are going to go for, the 3070, which is like $449, I think, in the UK. And it's meant to be a hell of a lot more powerful than what's in the new consoles. Yeah,
I think the price as well for, you know, because they've been comparing it to like the top end cards that are available currently, which is you know, like 2080 Ti and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the amount of performance you're getting for, you know, 450 quid or thereabouts, probably a bit more.
It's a big gap, isn't it? Rather than a bit more incremental.
It's amazing. Yeah.
There's a lot of very unhappy 2080 Ti owners who spent like $1,500 on their graphics cards, and now the 3070 is coming along for a third of what it cost them for a 2080 Ti, and it's 20% more powerful than their 2080 Ti. So they're like very salty at the minute.
So have they cracked some new technology or something? Because it's like, it seems to be that this is like a generational gap of difference. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
rather than like, it seems to be that. It seems to happen that there's a big leap, and then the next couple of cards will be, you know, like more incremental, and then this one is just like a fucking, I don't know, big gap. It seems
it's something that always happens, like, because, you know, like the 20 series of Nvidia cards, they were like the first things to come along and say, look at ray tracing, everybody, and you know, usually like first gen tech is usually like a bit shit and more expensive, and then second gen tech is like a lot cheaper and a lot better because they finally like worked out any design issues and they were able to get like manufacturing costs down and stuff like
that. And the price of this as well, like the timing of this is pretty amazing, right? It's just like a couple of months before the consoles come out. So it does feel a little bit like, you know, this has been a couple of years, maybe, you know, 3 years in the making, like Liam says, getting the, you know, the actual design and building process so that they can afford to sell it for 450 quid. Because I'm definitely going to pick one of these up. Whether or not it's going to be in the next year or two, I don't know, but I'll get it. I'll get this card cheap at some point because I know that it's, you know, about as good like price for performance as you could get. And I play a lot of PC games. I play a lot of Total War, but, you know, I don't need the top end. This is like a really good price performance card, and the card I've got now is a 970, which was kind of the same, just like like a sweet spot in terms of price and performance at the time.
I've got a 1070, and I think this will be my next card, to be honest.
Nice.
So it's just that we don't really talk about PC hardware much, I guess, but it's I think the majority of people that watch us are probably on PC, so it's just interesting. I'm like that's the reason I thought it's worth a mention, is because it seems to be so well timed. And
we got a new channel launching as well called Special Foundry, where we're gonna.
Is that a Command & Conquer unit?
Yes, it's a research building in Command & Conquer. We're gonna start doing hardware stuff. No, but it's kind of. But this is what I mean. It's all kind of coming to a head, isn't it? This feels like it's been a long time since we've had a new, a lot of new hardware arriving, and like PS4 and Xbox One was what 2014.
13, yeah.
13. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it feels like we're kind of overdue, and everybody's kind of, because there hasn't been a load of information because of COVID. There hasn't been a load of like, well, here's when it's coming out, and here's how much it's going to cost, and there's a lot of uncertainty, and that kind of makes everyone collectively kind of hold their breath, and you're kind of anticipating the news a bit more.
I wonder if this leak is kind of, it seems to be a bit of a standoff, I think, between Sony and Microsoft with announcing, and I think this leak has kind of forced Microsoft on. But you know what? I think it actually generated a lot of cool press for them at the end of the day, because like they were such good sports about it. Like they posted a meme, like they've been outed, and then just like 2 hours later, they posted it. That their PR team must have been shitting themselves all day. Like it's just, to me, it's very, very interesting that we're there now. It could be that podcast 97, we're discussing the launch dates and shit like that. And again, for our PC heads, you just had a bit of 380 talk, haven't you? So just put up with it. But it's this could be the last one where we're just speculating. So cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Hopefully, innit? Because I do feel like I want to know what's happening, and I want to, and I'm now that we're getting information, now that I know that an Xbox Series S is 250 quid and it doesn't have a disc tray, but it can do all these different things. That's good to know. That's good to know that kind of where we're going, and give you some idea of what it's going to be like. And that's a really appealing, like, purchase for me as well. Everything. I want to spend my money on everything, right? That's the problem. And all this stuff, I'm like, I want that and I want that, and it's not going to happen, obviously. But this, the Xbox, Xbox Series S is, I don't know. It seems like a good deal, like a good value thing.
It really does.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I'm interested to see what PC heads think of it, because a lot of PC experts will kind of give you especially like at this point in time, I can make you a better PC than a PS4 for cheaper. But finding a PC as powerful as the Series S for 250 is going to be a bit of a struggle, right?
Basically impossible.
Yeah. Right. Unless you've got hardware, unless you've got wholesale prices.
Yeah, like especially with the Series S saying it's going to do 1440p. I know it probably won't be up to 120. Well, it won't probably. It's saying it can do up to 120 FPS. Probably not at 1440p, but but that is for the longest time considered like the sweet spot in PC gaming, where it's 1440p is a lot higher resolution than 1080, but not nearly as demanding as 4K, and you get the smoothness of like 144 hertz. Like monitors and stuff like that. So like the Series S is offering a hell of a lot of value for $249.
And I guess that value is tethered to, in their head, I guess the lack of disc tray means you will be making all purchases through the Microsoft Store or subscribing to Xbox Live
Game
Gold.
Pass,
so they will recoup that money back over the generation. So that's what they can do. Whereas, like, PC for that cheap,
they can sell it at a bit of a loss, because, like you said, they're going to have like your only choice at that point is to go straight into like the Microsoft ecosystem.
Yeah,
Because even if you're on that like EA Access subscription thing or whatever it is, they're all EA games, and it's an EA service that you're subscribing to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're selling it to you through the Xbox, storefront, aren't they? So there's going to be Microsoft are going to be making money off of that kind of thing as well. So yeah, I don't know. It's exciting. I really can't wait to find out what the PlayStation equivalent is, and for the Xbox. Fucking, I'm confused with these Xbox names. With the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to finding out, because we don't know how much that costs yet, right? Do we?
No,
not officially.
No. So I'm looking forward to more details and pricing and stuff for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time. Like the run up to a console is always cool.
Oh yeah. Just seems
right.
like. Oh, never mind.
What does it seem like, Liam? Go on.
No, I was just going to say, it seems like it's all coming at once, is what I was going to say. Like,
yeah.
I went on Reddit before just to check, see what was going on. There's so many announcements today alone. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is a Mexican standoff type of thing, isn't it? Where everyone's standing there pointing their guns at each other for ages, but then everyone dies within a couple of seconds. Is that kind of like,
It's the end of a John Woo film.
Yeah. Or Reservoir Dogs, or yeah.
No, John Woo.
Right. Shall we do an email before we start talking about games that we've been playing?
Yeah, can do.
Okay, this one is from Mark, who sent us an email into our Dear Special Moves inbox. The address is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Send us emails about gaming, your personal stories about gaming, your opinions about gaming. If you disagree with us, agree with us, whatever it is, send it to dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Like Mark, who says this: "Hey gamers." Got
hey Mark.
Rebel in our midst.
Welcome to the team, baby.
Mark says, "I'm writing in after I started playing Dragon Age Inquisition. In one of the recent podcasts, I think it was Mike that said he didn't like it and it didn't hold up to the original Dragon Age, which is Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Inquisition was the first in the series that I played, and one of the first games that I played on PS4. And I feel like, as I'm a bit different in that I prefer them in reverse order. Inquisition first, Dragon Age 2 second, and then Dragon Age Origins. Just put Origins at the bottom of the pile there.
Okay.
Dragon Age Inquisition had such incredible music, stunning visuals that still hold up today, and a story that actually holds my attention, as well as good crafting and a well fleshed out skill tree that you can make some really cool builds with in combination. Dragon Age 2 has a somewhat interesting story that was fairly short and left me eager for more. Interesting characters and fun combat. It's not the best game ever, but it's a solid pick for any RPG fan, and Origins, well, I've honestly never finished it. It's a lot harder for one. The combat is dull, the story loses pace, and the amount of times I've just gotten completely lost is exhausting. And therefore, while I enjoyed it to an extent, it simply doesn't hold up as well. I just started playing Dragon Age Inquisition on PC, and I must say the controls are dreadful. The PS4 version is far better, and that's hard to say as someone who spent a buttload of time on a PC. Best wishes, Mark from Northern Ireland. Bit of a controversial opinion.
That's good. I like a brave opinion. I don't agree, and I think he should be chased out of his home country. But I think that, one thing about Origins is that, like, I didn't realize it was as good as it was until I played Dragon Age 2, and then went, "Oh, this isn't for me." But I found that with Mass Effect as well, where like it took me a couple of runs at it to get into it. But then when I was in, I was way in, and I was like that with Dragon Age Origins. But obviously, this Mark, if that's his real name, is played through the whole thing. So it's like that doesn't really count. It's just sometimes where you like listen to something like some music or watch a film that you don't like, and you go, "This is someone's favorite film." That's Mark, isn't it? Mark is like the antithesis of my Dragon Age opinions. I don't know.
He's playing Dragon Age Origins and going, "This is someone's."
Yeah, Yeah, this is some poor fucker's favorite fucking Dragon Age.
Well, but it is interesting point, like in the order that you played it, or when you played it, and when you came to it. If he played Dragon Age Inquisition first before he even played Dragon Age Origins, that tells you, there's a good few years there before, Dragon Age Origins came out in like 2008 or something like that. He's come to it pretty late. I love Origins, but I haven't been back to it in a long time. Dragon Age Inquisition, I'm kind of like this on it a little bit. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I don't love it, but I don't, I guess I've been thinking about this new Dragon Age news though. I'm coming around to really being, looking forward to it really, and I want to see what they can do with an RPG again, and not just like with Anthem, which is kind of an RPG and then some.
This is a good IP, isn't it? That's the thing. Like, it's got such good potential. Whereas Anthem's IP is a bit of a mess, to be honest. I think like the idea of it's just a bit. It's not sticky. Like, it's just like, what is it again? Like, can you remember much about it? Well, Dragon Age, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's got. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just saying this because I'm like a high fantasy, dark fantasy guy, so it's just more my thing. But I don't know. I think what I'm trying to say is I think it's easier to get it right than it is to get it wrong. Mark agrees. So it's just about seeing if they're gonna dare to be different again. Because that's the thing with BioWare, I guess. Lately, they've just been trying. Like, Mass Effect Trilogy was like maybe the last thing that they did. That output was like quite well received. Not my opinion, by the way. It's just like fact. No. And then they did something a little bit different with Andromeda. Didn't quite work. Did something a little bit different with Inquisition. A lot of people think it didn't work.
Well, do you know? Yeah, that was Game of the Year at the Game Awards. I think that is like the
Inquisition.
Yeah, which. It's pretty astonishing, I think. There's good things about it. There's good fluid combat, and I like that BioWare's got this good knack for having like music that sounds really memorable and epic. But and when you hear it again, because I've been going back and playing Mass Effect Andromeda, and you hear the Andromeda music again, and it is good. Like it does have this good like epic feel to it, but it doesn't have like the staying power. It's not like iconic epic music. But it is, it's pretty nice and nice art and nice ideas and stuff. But yeah.
Do you think that it's like Final Fantasy, Dark Souls, and whatever? It's like your favorite is always the one that you played first.
Possibly.
I'd like to see someone's opinion on Pokemon. Like if we gave them all the Pokemon games. I say we, like we're doing some sort of experiment. if we gave them over and we sat them down and we said play all these, I wonder what people would really say, because everyone's favorite Pokemon game is the first one they played, I think.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, because I mean it's true a lot, like Zelda and Mario and stuff. I guess that kind of that theory does hold up a little bit, but.
So maybe that's it. So maybe Dragon Age Inquisition is the best one, and we're all blinded by nostalgia, and Mark is the chosen one. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, thanks for
consider that
blessing us with your presence, Mark. Thanks for the email. Let's move on. All right, then. So, I played a lot of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 over the weekend. Did any of you guys play?
No, I did not.
I was this close to buying it, wasn't I?
You didn't get it?
No. I was on after the last podcast. I was on the screen.
Yeah.
But then it hit me like, I'm going to play New World. So I thought I'll buy it later. And then I didn't. And then do you know why I didn't buy it? I'll say it out loud just in case anyone else has got the same problem and it's relatable. It's a very first world problem though. I have never bought an Xbox game ever. I use my Xbox now, about 80% Xbox, 20% PlayStation 4. But I only play Game Pass games. And it's because my youngest daughter's at like a stage where she's like really into TV and stuff like that. Like playing with toys the age of toys is over. All right. And the age of Netflix begins.
The time of New York.
But she's also into like tangible things. And the PlayStation controller's got a nice light on it. I've got a bright red controller. She just grabbing it off me all the time. And, I just don't want to play in the room with her there. I'd rather just spend time with her, basically, is what I'm saying. Can't get away with it. When they're a baby, you can get away with it. I used to play Resident Evil 2 with her napping on me, and now that's all over, boys. Yeah. So, anyway, I didn't know if I wanted it on PlayStation or Xbox. And because I couldn't decide, I didn't get it in the end. I was stalemated by my own console privilege problem.
Well, I it's really casual. It's a really, really casual game, and it's really nice for that. And me and Laura played it like Friday night. Both of us played it, and not split screen or anything like that. We just passing the controller backwards and forth because
with a bit of Offspring on in the background. Some cheese Doritos.
The soundtrack is good. Like they've done a really good job, right, of getting stuff that sounds like it was on the original soundtrack, but it's not, because you realize that they're singing about Instagram and shit like that. Like genuinely, there was a song I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is all right." And I had
so it's not the original soundtrack.
There are original songs on it, from what I can.
Yeah, I think
but some of the license.
Yeah, they couldn't get all the original songs back, so they've like replaced them with fitting tracks.
But genuinely, it's a strength. It is because the whole, because how many songs did you hear in? And I feel like this about Crazy Taxi and all these, like you mentioned, Offspring. Like a lot of these old games that's how I got into a lot of the music that I liked when I was a teenager. Yeah. So this kind of has the same quality to it. Like they've genuinely just, had a look on Spotify and tried to dig out things that are. Yeah. That are similar, and a lot of the bands are small, and
well curated. Then
that's
good.
That's good. But it's like a specific, it's like every song is like there's different genres. There's like hip hop and punk and stuff mainly, but it's all of the same kind of fucking tempo. Do you know what I mean? It's all of the it all sounds great. When there's like the sound of a skateboard grinding on some metal and someone falling off and some video gamey kind of like, popping sounds and stuff. It all sounds, the soundtrack is really spot on.
Oh, yeah. I'm just looking at a list of all 37 songs added. So there we go. That's quite a lot. That is quite a lot.
Yeah. And it's a strength. It's a strength. I'm pretty comfortable in saying that. I think so anyway. The fact that they've done this and not just tried to be as, this is how it was in the 90s.
Any other changes then, or?
Well, only in like what you'd expect, like quality of life stuff. The both games, you've got like a simple progression that carries over in both games, very much like I guess was it like this in Wipeout, like where you unlock stuff, but the two games are just in the menu. You know what I mean? You don't have to. It's not
like Hitman. That's a bad example, but
I guess and there are games where you have to choose which game you want to boot up first, and then you play that game.
That's what Crash Bandicoot did, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is like that. This is a lot more like. I mean, they're organized, so which arenas are in the first one and which arenas are in the second one, but it's all within the same menu system thing. But yeah, it's just a really good, chilled out game. Really nice to play. That we played it for hours, just passing the controller backwards and forwards, because you're only having to spin for like 2 minutes at a time.
2 minutes at a time, yeah.
Or 4 minutes if you have managed to negotiate 2 goes in a row. Do you know what I mean? But it's good. It's a good laid back game, good price. I mean, it's easy to recommend for me because I haven't played my PlayStation in a while either. I haven't been, you're saying you're playing it 20% of the time or whatever, but there's nothing really that's like grabbed my attention apart from The Witcher, which is a game that came out in 2015. So this is nice to have a totally different thing. Perfect like living room game, perfect to put your feet up and just have a beer and play it. In contrast to like when I'm playing Total War or something where I'm completely like focused and I don't want to think about anything else and I'm just playing Total War.
Yeah.
This is a very nice, relaxing game. And I would recommend it. Like if not now, but if it ever comes up for a tenner or something, it's just so easy to play. I would imagine with a room full of people.
even for the youngsters, you'd recommend it? People below 24?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. Because my Twitter feed is basically people 30 odd just being like, yeah, boy, you know?
Relive the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is us, but not almost. Okay, cool. That sounds like it'll eventually go on sale, and it'll be like,
I mean, it's a cheaper. It was £33 or something on day one. Yeah,
exactly. Oh, if you buy it physical, I think on the digital stores, which are more expensive, it's 40 quid. But still,
is it? Oh, yeah, that is a bit much. I think 40 quid is probably a bit too much for it. But it feels like, if you can get it for 30 or below, dead easy game that I can see myself just going in and out of this for a long time, like Rocket League or Fall Guys, I suppose. More recently.
Yeah,
it's a good one. Yes, and other such words. Rad.
Cowabunga.
Liam, you've been playing Avengers, mate. How's that?
Yeah, the final full game is here after what seems like a month long of betas. The final game is here for everyone to play, and I like it, to be fair, because it's getting a decent-ish reception everywhere else. Like I think the reviews are on Metacritic and OpenCritic. It's like averaging the mid to high 70s at the minute, and a lot of people thought this game was going to bomb. I don't think it has, because it's like #1 sales game in the UK, purely just because it's got the Avengers name on it. It was going to do well anyway. But so the actual game is, I think, quite a bit improved from the beta. Combat felt snappier. The camera felt less erratic. Because in the beta, for me anyway, the camera felt like it was just all over the place, unless you were locked on. So that's been going well, and I finished the campaign last night, which is about 10 to 15 hours, I would say, maybe more if you do absolutely every side mission. But the side missions, some of them are like too high a power level for you to do at that point in the campaign anyway. So you got to go back to them when you got better gear and stuff. Very much like Destiny and games like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the campaign itself, I think, is quite good. Like, it's got some pretty good set pieces. The cutscenes are good. It still can't quite escape the sort of like B-movie knockoff feel of the movies. It's still sadly saddled with that comparison. To the point where there's some bits in the campaign where I couldn't help but think they are actually directly trying to copy key moments from different like points of the MCU. I think there's a couple jokes that are straight out of Thor Ragnarok in this Marvel game, and one of the set pieces is like literally straight out of the beginning of Endgame, where they find someone in space. But other than that,
it's kind of reminds me of that Lord of the Rings RPG on PS2 that
Third Age or
Third Age, where it had not Aragon but fucking Arathon or something.
It is a bit Gandalf, like that,
but Mandalf.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't
Mandalf. So is that the bad guy from Dexter's Lab?
That's Mandark.
Bless Nolan North, but he's definitely trying to do a Robert Downey Jr. impression as Tony Stark, and it doesn't quite land all the time. But the gameplay's good. I played most of the game as, when it let me. My preferred two characters were Black Widow and Captain America, but the campaign has every so often it has missions where it locks you into playing one hero for that story beat. But the campaign's good. You can definitely tell it's made by the people who made Tomb Raider, though. There is a lot of times where you end up sliding down a cliff face, whereas everything's crashing around you, and you've got to do a quick time jump at the last minute to save yourself from falling to death. So it's definitely got the Tomb Raider DNA in it. But I don't really have that many complaints with the game, to be honest. My only real major complaints with it are sometimes the live service stuff feels a bit bolted on at times, and
Right.
it makes me think whether at some point, they were just making a linear campaign-based game that was going to be like, 15 to 20 hours or whatever, and then like halfway through development, they were like, no, we need to make this last forever, and they just bolted on a bunch of live service stuff. Because I said to you guys in the WhatsApp, I finished the campaign with a gear score of 25, and I was playing as Captain America, who I got to like level 14. The max level for each hero is 50, and the max gear score is 150. And at no point did I ever feel like I had to grind for better gear during missions. Yeah. So I don't really think the gear score and like the grinding out loot aspect of the game is that important to the overall game, especially if you just go through the campaign. I think it's just like it matters more. It's just a way of extending the playtime, I guess.
You know
like,
what? Let's just
get
like
you out of missions.
Minecraft Dungeons did the same thing.
Kind of, yeah. Where it felt entirely pointless. And apart from just like when you got to the next level, it was like an arbitrary limit on you. It does feel a bit like that in Avengers.
Right.
And then like apart from that, like I think there's some wasted opportunities with levels. There's a couple like really good levels in the campaign. One of them set on like a satellite space station, and the other one set at this like oil rig platform. Kind of reminds me of Big Shell from Metal Gear Solid 2, actually. And apart from those two campaign missions, those two areas are never used again at all in the entire game, which is like you don't ever go back to them during a side mission or another like optional mission where you can go like open treasure chests and stuff like that. So it feels a bit of a wasted opportunity. And then like the rest of my issues are just like technical, really. Like I had quite a few crashes when I was trying to play it. One crash, actually, I've never seen this happen before on the PS4, actually crashed the PS4 operating system, and the PS4 operating system had to reboot. Like, the PS4 didn't reboot, but the system software did, and I've never seen that happen before on a PS4.
That happened to me with Witcher 3 when it came out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. I saw on Twitter today as well, like people I know have had similar issues with like it being a overheating problem or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say that we got given a key early, which we did, but it is also worth saying that, like, well, first of all, I don't know if you played it until it came out officially, but it was right when the pre-orders went live. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you pre-ordered like the whatever £80 edition, you could have played it then as well, alongside the press and influencers who got the game. So, like, it should have been ready, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And what else? Yeah, I had like just stupid stuff like audio not playing during cutscenes, and I had what I can gather from the character animations was meant to be like a really poignant, dramatic moment, and there was just no audio whatsoever, apart from like it sounded like a computer fan buzzing in the background, which very well might have been my PC going in the background, and so I had no audio at that point, and just like some little animation glitches. The funniest being Hulk T-posing through a cutscene, which is quite good. But other than that, I do like the game. I can't really speak to the multiplayer part of the game because I only just reached that point last night, because it's split into on the main menu you have the campaign, and then it has the post-game multiplayer bit, which is called the Avengers Initiative, and that's like all the post-game like like end game tiered stuff where you're grinding out. That's when you like your gear matters, I guess, where you have to like grind out your gear and everything. But I don't know how long that's going to last, or if it's going to be enough to say this is a satisfying end game, because I've not really been near it yet, so I can't really speak to that bit. But other than that, I think it is a good game. Like it definitely could have used some more time in the oven, but it is a good game. I like the combat. I do like the different variety of the heroes, apart from Iron Man. I really do not like Iron Man, how he plays. He's the worst character in the game. I just don't like it. But yeah, like, it's a good game, I think, and I can easily see myself going back to it over the next few weeks as my play the game while I have like a nice podcast on in the background. It's going to be that type of game for me, I think.
Yeah. All right, then. Cool. So that's a couple of new games. It was a busy kind of week for releases, wasn't it? I think so. Anyway,
I think it was. Yeah.
So before we go through this week's releases, of which there's a handful. Let's do a couple more emails.
Okay.
This one real quick from Lorenzo Landucci, who says this.
Sick.
Hello, gamers.
Go on, Lorenzo.
I'm sure Lorenzo means Dear Special Moves, but here we go. Mike, you recently expressed that Ghost of Tsushima hasn't been the most captivating experience. Fair enough. But I would love for you to explain why this title hasn't met your gaming sensibilities. In fact, I'm really curious how the boys at Special Moves feel about the genre of open world games in general. Which open world games succeed, and more importantly, what does the genre need to remain relevant going forth? Excellent use of the word forth, Lorenzo. Thanks for all your hard work, and if you're curious, lately I've been listening to podcasts while hiking the Colorado Rocky Mountains. Lorenzo Landucci.
Nice.
Lorenzo out here living a real open world dream.
Somewhere we're being listened to in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. That's
we are
amazing.
that
South Park country.
Fucking come on. Well, boys,
what do we think of open world games? I think we talk a lot about it, don't we?
Yeah, like it seems like it's the most popular type of game out there that's not like a MOBA at the minute anyway.
Or a live service.
Or a live service game. Like, I do like open world games. I do have a lot of issues with them. My preferred type of open world is the like Rockstar Death Stranding type open world, where it's just like a big map and you just feel like you can explore it at your own pace without icons popping up everywhere, without being told you've got to go to this specific point to do this specific thing, you've got to go here for this collectible. Yeah, I prefer being able to just sort of like go about at my own pace. Like, probably one of my favourite open worlds, if you can even class it as an open world, is the Mojave Desert from Fallout New Vegas. Like, even though it's like, it looks quite boring because it is just desert, mountains, the occasional like ruined building you can explore. It was just having the freedom to just explore at my own pace and just wander around listening to Johnny Guitar and Big Iron on his hip and stuff like that.
But at the same time, I think what was genius about that as well was there was like an obvious loop to it as well. So you started here and then there was the whole map was like a wheel and you could just it was a really natural like journey.
Yes.
I thought
it was. It was.
And if you try just going north straight away, then you just get annihilated by all the mutant creatures and stuff. So you had to kind of go like south and then east and then or whatever. There was like an obvious route to it, which was also a really nice bit of design that maybe gets overlooked.
Breath of the Wild 2 as well. I like for the same reasons I like Red Dead 2 and Death Stranding, where it's like. Literally, it presents me a map, and it's like, just go explore. Yeah. There's nothing directing me. I can just go at my own pace. Well, like I get Breath of the Wild, you can be like, right, I need to go over here to get to like, the Goron City or whatever, and then it's like you plot a point, like you mark it on your map. You check your map every so often to make sure you still go in the right direction. Every now and then you'll run into an obstacle, whether that's like a mountain you can't climb or a river that's too deep for you to swim across, so it'll like sweep you away. And then then you get like the sort of adventuring aspect of like, how do I navigate these impassable objects sort of things. So so basically I seem to like just the exploration aspect of open worlds more than just like having it there to say, it's the Ubisoft type open world I don't really care for, where it's just like telling me where to go all the time.
Yeah.
The orienteering aspect of it is a chore for some people probably, but I am like well with you. Like, my favorite open worlds is like Zelda, like Ocarina of Time is my favorite open world map. Wind Waker is like a bit of an odd one because kind of is like being on a motorway where there's just nothing, but you've got your little sat nav. There's just, and it's punctuated by these exciting bits, but the sea is pretty boring, right? On purpose, because then as the game starts progressing, like random weird things happen in the sea, like, you know, giant fucking octa-rock squiddy things come out of nowhere, or you can stumble upon all these crazy little islands. The more I think about it, the more I love Death Stranding. And I've been watching Limmy playing it recently.
Yeah.
I thought he'd hate it. And he's talking about it like it's the best game he's ever played.
His one of his favorite games is Euro Truck Simulator.
Yeah, absolutely.
He does like a commute. Does all
just a man on the road. Yeah, exactly. It's because it gives. It's. I know it's really like to say it, but the fact that it does put you in a position to focus on other things, like listen to the music or just look at the sights. Like, you know, you see like a big mountain and you go, I've got to walk up that motherfucker, and then you're walking up that motherfucker, and then you realize there's some nice moss. There's some bits where you've got to crouch and avoid bad. Like, it puts you out of like this constant, like, like Ghost of Tsushima's like, there's a bird, there's a fox, there's a bird, there's some bloodlust. Yeah. Follow all these cool things. And Death Stranding is like, you will walk up that whole thing and you are not coming back on a zip wire till you've gone up there. But it makes you like think about something in a different way. And this is exactly what Kojima would have wanted me to say. I fell into his fucking trap. But the game is aged really nicely, and I do fancy playing it again before the year's up. And that sounds really weird. I didn't think I'd say that, but
I'm gonna do it. But I'm kind of I'm thinking about, should I wait for PS5 and will it look nicer on PS5? And if that's free, well, why shouldn't I wait? You know, and do it like that? Because I've been playing another open world game, because all games are open world games, is The Witcher 3, as I've said loads. But I'm playing that on the PS4, and the whole idea was that I'd play through all of it, including the DLC, right? But now, CD Projekt, they've said there's going to be like a nice upgrade version of it on the PS5. So I'm kind of thinking, well, fucking hell, should I just wait again and do it on the PS5? So go on.
I was just going to say, I'm thinking of doing the same with Death Stranding, but getting the PC version with like a 3080 or whatever. Playing it at like mad high resolution.
It looks so good. Like, oh my god. I wonder how long it's going to be till Horizon Zero Dawn comes out on the PS5, because that's going to be first proper next gen open world game, isn't it? I think will be Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
I'm getting less excited about that, but you know, I do love Horizon Zero Dawn, but you know, I don't think I'd ever play it again. And that is a great open world example of you know, for me, open world is kind of like a bit of a dirty word almost, because in my head it means, as Liam was saying, you know, a Ubisoft open world, which is like a specific thing in itself. And for most of the time, when a developer says it's an open world game, that's what they mean. They mean icons. They mean Days Gone. They mean, you know, Mass Effect Andromeda is a horrendous example of an open world. Because it's icons and stuff everywhere. But if you like the Mass Effect universe, and if you like driving around in a space rover on an alien planet and with abandoned colonies and stuff like that, great, you'll enjoy it, because I've been enjoying it. But and that's what it comes down to, because like Spider-Man, I really enjoyed Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, in fact, but. That's a very, very typical open world game. I love Horizon Zero Dawn, but that's a very typical open world game. But something like Days Gone, I can't even bring myself to play it, because I don't fancy playing it. I don't fancy playing that kind of open world game in that setting. So the point I'm making is that it comes down to the setting, basically, and it comes down to the strength of the other things going on in the game. Because I'll play through an open world game if I love the characters and I love the fact that it's got robot dinosaurs. But I won't play through an open world game if it's set in ancient Egypt and the characters are boring, because that's what Assassin's Creed Origins was. And I couldn't, I just wasn't, it just didn't grab me. It's as simple as that.
I completely forgot when I said the first next gen open world game is going to be Horizon Zero Dawn that there's a fucking Assassin's Creed.
It's of course going to be Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I'm interested in. Because I like Vikings, right? So
and it looks like a Witcher ripoff. So
and it looks like a Witcher ripoff. So, yeah, exactly. So It's
looking forward to that free code from Ubisoft.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks for the email, Lorenzo. I hope you're safe in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado.
All right, yeah.
I almost said Misty Mountains then, which is
projecting. Mandalf strikes again.
It's a Nice Guys reference and a Lord of the Rings reference. Right, Nice Guys is a great movie, by the way. You should watch it.
It's a good movie.
That's sneaking bonus podcast.
That's bonus podcast material. Get that out of here. Okay, we're pretty pressed for time today, so actually, let's just read this email, react super quick, and then move on with our lives. All right, so it's another. The rebellion is risen today, right? It's another Hey Gamers email.
Keep up the good work. We strike on the 12th.
So this is from Jay in Liverpool, who says this. Hey gamers, I've been a gamer for a while. At the grand old age of 32, I've seen some great games and some poor games since I started gaming in the early to mid 90s. Same here. From the early 2000s and PS1, PS2 and PS3 days, there seems to be a steady decline of quality control in gaming. Now, what I mean by this is that games before online capabilities were not able to be patched, fixed, or changed after release. This meant that games on release stayed as they were, and 95% of the times there were very little issues. A few glitches, yes, but no game-breaking issues. Now, I mean, we'll respond to this when we finish the email, but here we go. These days, it seems commonplace to release a game half-baked and simply release a fix or patch after their release. The games that come to mind that are guilty of this are Fallout New Vegas, Assassin's Creed Unity, Aliens Colonial Marines, Mass Effect Andromeda, and not forgetting the atrocity that was Fallout 76. Apologies to any Fallout 76 developers that might be listening. Do you think game developers are now complacent compared to the days of pre-online capabilities because developers know that they can fix any issues with numerous patches after release? Or could it be that the technology of this generation of consoles has been pushed so far and changed so quickly that the developers just can't keep up? Excellent podcast, guys. I've been listening to them since day one. Keep up the good work, you bunch of legends. Love you long time. Jay from Liverpool. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.
Do your special moves next time.
Nah, mate. And listen, shouts at Liverpool while we're at it. Nice one.
Yeah, great city.
Great people. Great city, great people. Good night. See you.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, this is a big email to try and get through quickly, but I don't think it was the case that things were great in the 90s and now they're not, because there were, I mean, the games industry crashed because of a game that was so broken, which was E.T.
Imagine a day one patch on that bad boy.
Exactly. Who knows? The face of the games industry could be. I mean, we could all be complaining about Atari now, but who even thinks Atari anymore? So, I don't think it is the case that it just used to be great and it is bad now. But it I mean, Liam has been talking about Avengers, which could do with more time in the oven. But that's the thing; it is going to get more time in the oven now, isn't it? It's going to still be patched and updated, and it's going to be totally different. In 2 months probably. Oh yeah,
it could have like another 40 hours of content by Christmas time. Who knows? But like,
it's probably because it's a financial thing, isn't it? It's a pressure thing, and it's the suits in the companies that are working it. Like, I work in this side of the industry, and the amount of times there's deadlines and developers are working out, like you see crunch because they are going to run out of money because they're a small dev team and they are going to run out of money. So it's things like that. Whereas like I can't help but wonder, like, a Christmas window release would be good, but like back in the 90s, if they fucking missed that, what happens? Do they not release it till the next thing? I'm sure there's all sorts of stories that we didn't hear. There's all sorts of great games that we don't know because things like that went wrong and there was no saving them. Whereas now, at least it's a kind of way out for a lot of developers. Early access is a great thing for smaller dev teams to get feedback on the go, and it's good for certain people who like to be part of that first wave of game development, like games like RimWorld. There's some really big PC Master Race specials Tarkov, PUBG. Like gamers really shaped the battle royale genre because of games like PUBG being in early access. That game might not have happened in the 90s because it might have run out of money or whatever. So, what I'm trying to say is like, without trying to sound too like, but there's some really good success stories that have come from early access. But I know what you mean. There's nothing more frustrating than a game coming out and being fucking broken, and it really puts you in a stupid mindset of, not only should I have waited for this, but if I did, I could have probably bought this for half the price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you're paying big money for a game, it's fucking booting your PlayStation to the loading screen or crashing. And you think, if I waited till Christmas, I could have got this for £15. Mm-hmm. It annoys you a lot. Like, you feel like you've been like properly ripped off. So I get it. I get that.
I think what has changed definitely is that you can see the capitalism at work a lot more than you could, right? So when a game came out, I'm going to talk about a series I always fucking talk about, just because it's, because I'm... All right, Total War, right? So when Total War comes out, the first Total War, it's the Shogun Total War. Shogun Total War happens. That's a great game. Maybe there's an expansion, the end, right? That's how it happens. Now, Total War comes out and maybe it's a bit broken. 6 months later down the line, maybe it's a bit better. Maybe they've added some good new DLC and expansions that have added to the character roster, and they've updated it a lot and stuff, and it's a lot better now. Another 6 months goes by and they fucking broke the game again because they added someone who's really OP. And the point is, there's like a living kind of thing, because it's constantly being added to, and you can see the capitalism at work a bit more, like I was saying, because when you boot it up, it's trying to sell you the extra characters and trying to sell you the expansions and sell you the DLC, which just didn't happen 20 years ago. So I think it's kind of broadly the same. Like, some games are bad, some games are good, except, when a Fallout 76 happens, you don't think that was someone trying to make a great game and they failed, even though maybe that's just genuinely what it was. You think that was just Bethesda trying to make a bit of extra money, and they pushed it too far with microtransactions and this and that. And so people, there's a natural kind of cynicism to it now, because every game is kind of a storefront as well, which it wasn't back in the day, probably.
Yep. Thanks, Internet.
Right. That's that. Fucking dissected. You're welcome. New games for this week. So we're recording on Tuesday, so a couple of these games are going to be out already by the time the podcast goes out. So out on September the 8th for Nintendo Switch is Avicii Invector, which is a music production game.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Yeah, in memory of the Swedish DJ Avicii. Out on the same day is Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning, which is on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. This is an action RPG, kind of hack and slash type game. We have talked about Kingdoms of Amalur quite a bit over the last 6 months. Liam has played it.
Yeah.
And we knew about this remaster thing which has come out. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to pick this up, to be honest with you. I was thinking about it, but I don't think I want to go for it. The reviews haven't blown me away. Liam has played the original and has gone, well, it hasn't aged very well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I feel like everything it did is now done elsewhere as well. So the fact that it was an RPG game with great combat and stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of RPGs have got great combat.
Yeah. I'm laughing because it's like, I'm the person in charge of the keys for it, and you could get a key for free and you still don't want one. And if that's not telling people what it's about, then what is? Do you know what I mean? You won't even have it for free. Anyway, Kingdoms of Amalur, that's not it.
Yeah, I'm. If you have never played it though, if you've never played Kingdoms of Amalur,
I wanted to play this. I've had this on my PlayStation for nearly 2 months, and I've just not booted it up because I've not been playing my PlayStation, and I need to get I haven't played it. I think maybe I'll play it soon, but
But if you think this was, I don't know when it originally came out, but if it was in the era of like Dragon Age Origins, which was a lot more like an MMO. You're telling your character to do this kind of attack or that kind of attack. Whereas Kingdoms of Amalur was like a very fluid action game, but also an RPG, which is really cool. Anyway, RPG Maker MV is also on Nintendo Switch and PS4 on the same day. That's September the 8th. This is RPG Maker. I mean, what do you want to know?
I used to make RPGs in RPG Maker, like in the early version of it. It was cool. It's good to be creative, but I don't know who's using it. Like, I'd like to hear from somebody. If someone in our comments is excited for this, please even send us the game if you want. I'll play it. Why fucking not? Again,
you're welcome, internet. So let's move on to the 10th, which is, I think, the Thursday. That'd be the Thursday, wouldn't it? So a lot of games on Thursday. On PS4 is Metal Max Xeno Reborn, which is an RPG. Liam, do you know anything about this?
I've heard of it, but I don't actually know anything about it. I've seen it. It gets brought up a lot in like niche subreddits, like the JRPG subreddit and stuff. But I don't know anything about this game, to be honest, apart from just a bit of word of mouth. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Play that if you want. Tell me why Chapter 3 is out on PC and Xbox One.
I installed this, remember to talk about it this week, but I just haven't, so I'm really sorry. But now they're releasing them quicker than I can talk about them. Failed to do so. So, maybe I can catch up. But it's good that they're releasing it on a weekly basis, like a TV show at this point, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just want to say that this might be the worst new games section that we've ever done. But let's carry on. Let's power through. Vampire the Masquerade: Shadows of New York, which is a visual novel, is out on PC, Mac, Linux, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
That sounds good. I've just been recently watching Twilight. I might play this one.
Liam, have you got anything to add to that?
Just like, isn't this like the fourth or so Vampire the Masquerade visual novel they've put out in the last year? Yeah,
they're stretching the old IP a bit there, aren't they? Because I mean, not stretching. Maybe that's not fair, but they're using it a lot.
They're really making a runway to the new game, the proper game, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, it feels like that, doesn't it? Yeah. But that's it. That's all I could find. I'm sure there's other stuff. There always is, but there you go. Thank you, everyone who sent us an email this week. We appreciate it. There's plenty more in our inbox, but we need a steady supply because there's a lot of rebels at the moment, a lot of hey gamers, and I know that the word rebel is appealing. But just think of like
anarchists,
the power of order. Okay. If you're the kind of person who plays Total War and then goes for a high elf instead of an orc, I mean, I need you. I need to be a special. I need to be a special moves.
And I'll join me in the caves where we can plan our next attack.
Bastards,
marauders. But yeah, I think. Listen, for everyone listening who cares about our regular schedule, we've had a couple of odd weekends away, but I think we're all in on Sunday. I think so. It means that we might have a Monday one, and we're definitely going to have a bonus one recorded on the Sunday, which will be a big. Like Mike said earlier, brought it to the table, a Q&A sesh, as well as our usual ramblings, which is I'm looking forward to it because we've not had one in a while, and I've watched loads of TV, and I know that you guys have as well. So, hopefully
stuff, but not TV.
Hopefully, we'll come back next week for the price discussion and launch day discussion for consoles. Collectively gather our energy.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, this was like a weird, like halfway house episode for all that type of stuff. But it's exciting. Isn't it? I mean, it would be nice to know in the comments what everyone thinks about the Xbox and the PS5 and how things are shaping up. So do let us know. And remember, send your emails to dsspecialnews@gmail.com. And if you're a patron, have a look on our Patreon feed over the next day or so you can help us out with the Q&A. That would be great. Cheers, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.